All right, I think we're going to kind of get started here. We're still waiting for a few people to trickle in, but I can see a few people still coming in the parking lot. But as we get people sort of trickling in here, we'll maybe start getting things sorted out. I have no idea. Oh, because it's the second time.
Don't call me crazy for wearing jeans, but I think that jog trophy in the middle is wearing.
All right. All right, welcome everybody. We're gonna get going here since it's definitely well past 6:30 already. I want to start by thanking all of you who could make it tonight and all of you who are tuning in to watch and listen in. I want to thank you all for a really great season. I was pretty worried going into this when we got delayed and when school wasn't starting and when we went through all of December without snow, kind of what our season was going to look like, especially with a ton of interest and a lot of new skiers. But everybody really came into it with good attitudes. So thank you to all of you skiers for all of your hard work, for your great attitudes, for showing up for practices, for helping each other learn this sport and get better at it, for working to keep each other safe by wearing super annoying masks, even during hard workouts and even before and after races, when I know it was definitely not comfortable to be doing so. I have to say, I think the Northfield team did the best out of any of the teams that I saw anywhere in any of our races at keeping to masking guidelines, keeping to distancing guidelines, and still managed to be out there being the most supportive, best cheering team, even with all of the extra regulations and stuff we had to deal with this year. So thanks to all of you athletes for an amazing season. Thank you to all of you parents who are tuning in for all of the extra hours of driving your kids to and from practice, lending out your cars so that they could drive themselves, hauling up to races where you couldn't even really get to the start finish to watch your kid, could only see them maybe out on the course or afterwards. Thank you for sitting in the parking lot at the Rock House while we wax skis week after week. You parents really make this sport happen, so a huge thank you to all of you for that. And finally, thank you to my other coaches. Without you, I would not have finished this season. And the experience for the kids certainly wouldn't have been what it was. So thank you to all of you coaches for really phenomenal work this year. With that, I'm going to kind of do a quick recap of the season. We had 46 skiers on the team this year, which I've only been here for a few years, but it's the biggest team since I've started with the program. And I know previous to me showing up, the program was as small as like 12. So to have this big in numbers is really exciting. A ton of progress. 19 of our skiers were brand new to the high school team this year. I know some of you had come up through the MYSL program before, but just to have so many of you out, and I know a lot of you were brand new to the sport entirely. So to see everyone pick it up, and everyone but 2 people race this season. So that's a huge accomplishment too, and really did pretty well. I was really proud of all of our racers tackling even some of the tougher courses. So great work to everyone, and especially to our new skiers this year. We did 9 races. We had 8 skiers ski every one of those 9 races in about, what, a 12 or 13 week season. So we really didn't have much downtime. We got a couple weeks to get our feet under us, and then raced at least 1 race a week all the way through the rest of the season. So good job on sticking with it, on racing through finals week, on racing through return to hybrid, on racing through all of the other unknowns. It was a very productive season from that standpoint. And speaking of our new skiers and improving skiers, I was really surprised when I started adding up all of the survey results that 22 different skiers got voted for most improved. So that's half of the team got at least 1 vote for being the most improved skier. And I'm sure there were a lot more of you who improved, just not as much as those around you. So our whole team is working together really well to lift each other up, and that's pretty awesome and exactly what I was hoping for from the team this year. So great work to all of you for supporting each other and for helping everyone really get better this year. A couple of shout outs to some skiers who did especially well. Sam Folland, who won his first South Suburban race this year. That was a big step for him. As well as qualifying for his first state meet and finishing in the top 50 in his first go out state. So great work there, Sam. Great work to Claire and Martin, who both had top 10 finishes in the South Suburban this year. Really some great results to cap off wonderful careers for both of you two. And I'm looking forward to seeing both of you out at citizen races in the future. As well as Martin also got his first state qualifier and raced really well against some pretty tough competition at state. So congratulations, you two. Jacob and David got their first top 20s this year. So nice job. Really moving up into more consistent scoring spots. Wendy, Nathan, Luna, Luke, and Nathan again all had top 30s. So especially for Nathan being a new skier, that's really exciting to see him learning so quickly, and really a good step up for the rest of you too. To be in the top 30 is really positioning ourselves to go places as a team. You're really the supporting characters who are making our team as strong as it was. Our boys team was 3rd at sectional this year, which is the highest that I've seen going back as far as I can find records. So, from our fellas, and I know we're graduating a few seniors, but I know that Egan is graduating a lot of seniors. So I'm excited to see where we can go next year for our boys team especially. And our girls team, we had a lot of very young skiers. So maybe we won't be going to state as a team next year, or maybe not the year after, but there's definitely potential there in the years to come. Especially, I'm really proud of our super huge group of 8th graders this year that just keeps getting more and more. So keep working together, girls. Keep getting your friends to come out. Keep getting your teammates in other sports to come out. And I think we're going to build a very competitive girls team in the next few years too. We had some new varsity skiers this year. So Grant, Argabright, Nathan, Nick Stufus, Elise, Ellie, Harper, Claire Casson, and Charlotte all raced their first varsity races this year. And I think maybe Caroline Bryce too, your first varsity race this year too. Yeah. So that's a lot of new skiers moving up to fill varsity spots, and I'm excited to have you back next year, a lot of you younger skiers, to keep moving up the ranks. All right, with that, we're going to do senior presentation. Since we didn't get to have a senior day this year, I just wanted to kind of do a short presentation to sort of show off our seniors to everybody, to wish them well as they move on, and just to look at their great accomplishments with our team. So if all the seniors kind of want to come up. If you stand kind of between here and the far side of the stage, then sort of everybody can see you.
You probably go that way. It's like,
Yeah.
oh wait, no, we can go a little bit. No, we can go a little bit. All right, nice. There we go. I think we're good.
All right. We'll just kind of go right to left, our right for the seniors. So, Nicole, I'm really glad you decided to come out this year. It was an exciting season, and you definitely brought a lot of fun to all of the practices and all of the events that you came to. You had a really great attitude, even though I know you don't like being out in the cold. We got some really, really cold days this year, but you were out there anyway. So it was just a lot of fun to have you on the team. You were a great leader right away for our JV skiers, just bringing your experience with competitive running and being an athlete, getting ready for races and a lot of that. And just bringing a fun-loving, try-anything kind of attitude to the sport. So it was great to have you this year. Congratulations.
Hopefully people can hear. So I get to talk about Claire, and Claire is notoriously one of the hardest working athletes, always has been throughout her entire career, absolutely. I had the pleasure to go on some roller skis with her, even during the off season. I got to watch her during cross country running and how hard she worked there. In the last 4 years, she's gone from a freshman finishing 50th at the section meet and over 13 minutes away from qualifying for state, to moving up to 43rd and then 30th and then 19th at sections and an agonizing 33 seconds away from qualifying to state. And so has shown some huge improvements. For those 8th grade girls out there, for their 8th grade year, just for frame of reference, they were 6 minutes, 6.5 minutes, and 7 minutes away from qualifying for state. And again, this is somebody who came from 13 minutes away from qualifying as her freshman to almost qualifying as a senior. So there's, again, a lot of improvement that she's made, and it's been through hard work and training and putting in the time. And so she's absolutely been an inspiration to us on the coaching staff. And I'm definitely excited to see where she's going to go from here, both in college and on the citizen racing circuit, where I'm sure we're going to see her. So congratulations.
Next up is Wendy. Wendy was the one captain coming into this year who I did not get to work with in cross country. So I was a little uncertain coming into the season what to expect. I knew she was a hard worker, and I knew she had a great attitude and really cared about the team. So I was really excited to see what she could bring with to kind of round out the other captains who I had already worked with. And I have to say, I was super impressed. You were always the first one there asking what you could do to help. what you could do to help us coaches, to help the athletes. You stuck around to help wax until everybody was finished at every meet. You stuck around even after the varsity bus left to cheer on our JV skiers whenever you could. And just really worked hard to bring our team together in a year when it was difficult to do so. So awesome work as a captain and awesome work as a skier. Some of your results I saw this year were leagues ahead of where you were last season. And you just looked really like an accomplished skier. Just the way your technique came together, how strong you looked coming into the season. I was really, really impressed with your racing this year and with all your hard work, both racing for yourself and to make our team. So thank you, Wendy.
Luna, it's been really great to watch you over the last few years as you've gotten better and better at skiing. And one of the things that I think you really brought this year, especially, is your dedication to just the sport in general, but also to the waxing part of the ski stuff. I feel like you were always in the wax room, kind of helping other skiers, kind of going over things, going over your skis. And there were definitely days where I was like, I'm pretty sure Luna has the best skis on the team right now. Because you were just really dedicated to that. I've also really enjoyed watching you grow with your ski technique and get better and better with that. I think it really showed this year. You've had some really, really excellent races. And one of my favorite things to see is people coming off the finish line, super excited about their race and saying like, hey, I think I did that a little faster than I did last time. So it's really great to see. I definitely know that there was a time a couple years ago where we were a little bit worried that you might not be a part of the team. And we're so excited that you're here and you just made such a big commitment this year that we really appreciate it, supporting everyone and being out for Nordic. So thanks so much, Luna. It's really appreciated.
All right, Nick. I was really not sure what to make of Nick when he first joined Nordic last year. He had possibly the worst technique of any new skier who I've seen starting out.
But it's so much better now.
He still would go out every practice and ski with the varsity skiers, even though it was clear that he was working twice as hard just to keep up with them. And that dedication and that like never slowing down attitude really helped him pick up the sport and improve quite quickly. In only his second year on the team, he raced varsity every race that he was at this season. He was right on the edge of being one of our scoring skiers in quite a few of those races. He even helped Jacob through a 50K Vasilopit ski after the season was done. And just over the course of both last year and this year, but this year especially, made huge gains in technique and efficiency, started to figure out equipment and training a lot better. He showed up for a few summer practices and brought that same hardworking attitude. There was one day when we went out and skied our longest ski of the summer out in Valley Grove, and he was determined to try and do the whole loop, the whole out and back that we were doing, even without bringing his own water and drinking everything he had on like an 80-degree day. He just worked himself all the way until finally we had to turn him around because he was out of water still on the way out. But he made his way back, and that hard work that he brought to the summer, that hard work through all those cross-country running practices really served him well this season. So awesome season, Nick.
So I get to talk about Martin, who we've watched through this team through many, many years. And I remember Martin skiing with NYSL years ago, and it's just been really super fun, both to see your persistence and also this year, especially to finally for you to see the results of all that hard work. Martin is sort of the essential Nordic skier, disciplined, smart, and just really hardworking. And good skiers pull along other skiers with them, and your leadership on this team, I think, has been part of what led to this great result for the boys team this year. In your captainship, you've watched this team go through lots of coaching changes over the years, and and especially in high school, there's so many things in the winter that could pull a smart, talented kid into other directions, and yet you've stuck with it. So thank you for continuing to be part of the team, Martin. And it's been really exciting to see you come with a great season and to bring along the team with you. So we know that you'll succeed in whatever comes next, and hope also that we'll see you out there skiing some more in the future.
For sure. Yeah, thank you.
Oh, yeah.
And I need a piece of paper to do this. I can't speak off the cuff. So several years ago, I had a lot of landscaping and yard work to do. Tree cutting and planting, rock work, that kind of thing. I thought, now, what big strong kid do I know that would be able to help me with that? It took about a couple seconds to think of Jacob, and he's been working for me ever since. The first day on the job, it was pouring rain, and I needed to plant some trees and prairie plants. I had on my rain jacket and rain pants, but Jacob showed up in a t-shirt. I said I would run inside and get him a rain jacket, but he said, no, I'm fine. This will help me get ready for my Army Ranger survival camp. Sounds good to me, I thought. Jacob has been a great worker and help at whatever project I send his way. Move a boulder, tear apart a wall, scrape paint off a mile of siding, whatever. He's also become a very accomplished skier, a super leader and team captain, just a mainstay of our team. Additionally, Jacob has another major accomplishment that I think not everyone knows about. An accomplishment that I am sure has no equal in the entire history of Northfield Nordic skiing. I'm even wondering if this accomplishment deserves a special Lifetime Achievement Award. If so, this award would be called something like the Broken Ski Pole. Over the last few years, Jacob has broken every piece of equipment it is possible to break in a ski race. Poles, skis, boots, bindings, nothing is safe around him. Maybe his next job could be as a ski equipment tester. If it doesn't break, it's good. Seriously, Jacob had a great year with great races when his skis didn't go flying off into the woods. And he was key in helping the boys team to a solid third place at the section race. That is quite an accomplishment for a small school like Northfield up against such large and combined city schools. Now, if only there was a high school race that lasted for 2 days and 2 nights nonstop, where they broke everyone's equipment halfway through and you had to repair it with duct tape. You got trampled by moose and chased by wolves and had to get your drinking water by rubbing 2 sticks together to make a fire to melt snow. If only the State High School League would sponsor a race like that, and I don't see why they wouldn't. In that race, my money would be on Jacob for state champion.
Yeah.
You're going to do great, Jacob. Some things might slow you down, but I'm quite sure nothing will ever stop you. So.
All right, now we're going to have our first couple of captain speeches. So other seniors can go sit down.
Yeah, I think that rate might be against the CFL bylaws.
Prefer half. Yeah, somebody might get demoted for a year.
No good. When I first started this sport my freshman year, I didn't feel so confident going into it. I felt overwhelmed and puny compared to some of the other skiers on the team. Some of these athletes have been skiing ever since they could walk, and here I am struggling to even stand up straight on a pair of skis. I remember my first race was at Highland Hills. Back then, I've never skied further than a few hundred meters, and here I was skiing my first 5K race. I lost count of how many times I fell on the course, some after 10. And when I woke up the next day, I was covered in bruises from head to toe. I may have been miserable. However, I knew that I finally found a sport that I'm going to love doing. What makes the sport of cross-country skiing unique, apart from its complexity, is the willpower and dedication that it requires in order to be exceptional at it. For professional skiers, all of your skill-related fitness components are constantly being tested, whether it be in a race or an intense workout. And the results of these performances do not disappoint. An example of this can be found in world-class biathlete Tyrell Eckhoff. Although Nordic and biathlon are two different events, many of the concepts remain the same. The main difference is that in biathlon, you ski to an area where you have to shoot 5 targets that are about 50 meters away. If you miss a target, you have to ski a short penalty lap to make up for the amount of targets that you miss. The reason I bring this up is because imagine running the mile in track. And when you finish running, you have to bring your heart rate down into its resting position in less than a minute. That's what it's like for a biathlete. They usually have to skate ski for a specified distance whilst carrying a 10-pound rifle on their back and have total control over their stamina. The physical demands that are required for this excruciating activity are ones that can only be achieved by Nordic skiers. Some other examples of world-class athletes include Alexander Bolshinov and Johannes Klebo. These two guys, along with many other professional skiers, spend almost every waking hour of their lives training for the most elite races in the world, where they make the podium almost every time. If there is anything this sport has proven to me, it's that hard work really does pay off. Like I said before, Nordic is a very complex sport, and it takes many years to master it. Whatever you learn now could be a matter of winning a race or coming in at a very close second place. An example of this is when Jesse Diggins became the first American skier to history to win the Tour de Ski this year. With a whole lifetime of Nordic skiing ahead of me, I will never forget the first team that I started with. I didn't know what to expect on that cold November afternoon in 2017 when I first tried on a pair of skis. But when I finished my first season, I knew that this was only the beginning, that the best of my racing career was yet to come. Skiing with this team was always the thing that I looked forward to most in my day. If I had a long day at school, I would always have a cheerful thought knowing that I would finish this day skiing with friends. This also includes the summer practices where we would have lots of fun on long distance roller ski workouts in the countryside and feel the warm summer breeze. Lastly, I want to thank all of the coaches for making my last season on the team the most memorable one. Although this was much shorter than previous seasons, it certainly didn't mean that we couldn't make a fun season out of it. I also want to thank the other captains for being such generous and fun-loving people to work with and relying on each other in times of need. And last but not least, I want to thank all of the athletes and parents for making this possible. Thank you for sticking with the team during this pandemic and finding new ways to have fun and stay warm during the winter weeks. After watching many of the newer skiers' performances this season, I can say for sure that the Northfield Nordic ski team has some really great potential for the future. Thank you all and good luck.
Nordic skiing is unideal. We choose the coldest, darkest, most brutal weather in the entire year and decide that should be the backdrop for an equally brutal sport. We have waxing, gear, and dressing for the many faces of winter that unfortunately only come as a skill after too many days with cold hands and not the right wax. As for the skiing itself, we decided that skiing down the hills wasn't good enough for us. So we added in the uphills, the flats, and everything in between. And if just managing to get out the door and survive a cold winter ski is enough, cue the ski racing. We stand out in the cold in our tacky yellow spandex race suits, ready to race until you can't feel your legs, all while having all but a few brave souls out on the course to cheer you on. Thanks, Dave and Ellen. Sounds like a blast, right? And don't even get me started on the pursuits. Now we have to do 2 races in one day? Who comes up with this stuff? It takes a really special group of people to find joy and persevere through the cold and toughness that is our sport. And you guys do it all year, time after time again. So when the world met us with an equally harsh year this year, we knew that it was time for our team spirit and perseverance to shine. As we time and time again wrote in our calendars and subsequently crossed out the first day of Nordic, November 9th, November 30th, December 18th, until finally January 4th, we did so with hope. Hope that was boosted by the joy of soccer game days after school. Those first group roller skis where we hoped everyone could just make it back. Nights over Zoom watching World Cup ski races, and the hope for snow whenever we could finally be together again. When we had to wear masks to every part of our season that wasn't racing, we showed our collective joy in the twinkle of our eyes. When we couldn't have normal team bondings, we embraced the countless Minecraft game nights, laughing countless nights over Zoom late into the night. When it didn't reach above 0 degrees for over a week, we made friends with the lower Arb ski trails and laughed at our own frosted hair and eyelashes. Heck, when we were racing in 45-degree weather in March, we embraced the tropical sunshine and arrived to the section meet in our best Hawaiian attire. You see, somewhere in the bundle of unidealness that is Nordic is a greater beauty that comes out of embracing every bit of it, the good and the bad. Embracing the cold, exploring trails that few would be brave enough to go search for, seeing the pastel sunsets, the steam rising off of the river, and the peaceful stillness of those negative 15-degree days makes it all worth it. Yes, while the racing is hard, embracing the pain and soaking in the opportunity to feel powerful, yet so graceful at the same time sets your soul on fire, even on those coldest days. So where does all of this leave us? It leaves us as a team that takes the opportunity to put glitter on your eyebrows when you have a mask on. True story. It leaves us a team that can work hard and have just as much fun along the way, no matter what obstacles we may face. It leaves us as a team that is everyone's cheerleader, regardless of the race and its results. That's something truly special, and I'm so blessed to have been a part of it all with you guys. I'll miss all of the fun times and people, but I am and will always be proud to have been a part of Northfield Nordic. Thanks.
All right, next we're going to present some of our end of the season awards. I think we'll have Pam start with our Rookie of the Year skiers.
So as you can imagine, with a lot of new skiers, the competition for Rookie of the Year is pretty tight this year. There are so many new skiers on the team, and whether you had never skied before or never raced before, congratulations to everyone who gave it a try for the first time this year. I think it can be really rewarding, but it's also kind of scary to be a beginner, to be new at something. And one of the sad things about our sports culture, I think right now, is that a lot of people feel like, you know, if I didn't start something when I was 6, I'm already way too far behind by the time I'm in high school. But the wonderful thing about Nordic skiing is that you can do it your whole life, and there will always be something to improve on. And some of the best skiers in the region in Minnesota are skiers who started skiing in high school. And just like you maybe had never put on skis before now in your life. So congratulations to everybody who had the courage to give it a try for the first time this year. There was just amazing improvement. It was really fun for me to work with the new skiers, and I'm just really excited to see how much you have all improved and how much you've supported each other in this year. With that, we do have a Rookie of the Year on the boys side. Nathan Amundsen was our Nathan, over this course of the season, moved into solidly being our number 3 skier on the varsity boys, and a big part of that improvement of the boys' total team score over the year. So congratulations, Nathan. And on the girls' side, moving into a varsity spot on her first time in the first time on the team, Claire Casson.
to see you race this season, and I'm looking forward to seeing you race more in the future.
All right, next up is most improved.
All right, so our next award is the Most Improved Award. So this goes out to a skier who has worked really, really hard this season. And I know we have a lot. I think Pam kind of said what I encompassed a lot of our skiers. And as Craig was saying earlier, we had 22 skiers that were new to the team and just really did really well this year. So it's been, I feel like there's been a lot of improvement throughout the whole team. So I think this award was really hard to choose. And we got a lot of.
I have to say in the voting, these were by far the closest. There were just a couple votes away from 5 or 6 different people winning these awards. This was definitely the toughest competition throughout the team, was for the most improved awards.
And so for the girls, the most improved award was Nicole T. Yeah. And Nicole, it was great to have you out there. It was really fun because I know you're a really great athlete as far as cross country goes, and it was wonderful to see your just a great attitude to something you've never done before, and really going from not being able to really go anywhere to really doing awesome. And we asked you to be on varsity at some point. So, and then also choosing, I remember a few races you had gotten so cold, and then choosing to do extra races by going to Winona. So yeah, it really shows, and you did a great job of moving. So thank you guys. So our next most improved award goes to one of the guys who, this person is a very dedicated skier and spends all of our Saturday practices, well, all the ones that were at the R, but we got reports of this person going out and skiing, and I think really processes the technique part of skiing and understands how important that is to improve and to encourage teammates to improve. And we heard some great stories about this person going out on Saturday and practicing and teaching other teammates these different techniques that we've been trying to teach people, as far as getting a good V2 over the tops of the hills and doing all that stuff. And it really shows in your improvement, in your technique improvement this year. Going to be very, very solid skier. We hope to see you on varsity next year. This one goes to Grant Artbright.
Great job, Grant. All right, next up, I have Team Spirit. So Team Spirit goes to the skiers who really made this a great experience for everyone, to the ones who were the loudest cheerers, who were always there helping put on glitter, who were always there encouraging new JV skiers and experienced varsity skiers, who were at every race and really just kind of gave their all to the team. They weren't necessarily the best skier or the fastest skier or the one who was always out there training the hardest, but they were the ones who cared the most that our team was a strong, cohesive unit. They're the ones who helped build this team to be the size that it is, because it's such a fun team to be on. So for the girls, that goes to Wendy. who really worked hard to do everything from cheering to Minecraft to everything in between, even things that she may not have expected to be doing when the season started. So congratulations, Wendy, and thanks for all your work. And for the guys, it goes to a skier who really showed how you improve by just working hard and getting out there at practice every day and really giving your all at races, and that's David Rhodes. Thanks for being a super solid player and for helping us build a very strong guys team that will hopefully continue to get stronger next year. All right, and then a similar but different award is our Golden Ski Award, and that goes to the most dedicated skier. So if the Team Spirit Award goes to the one who really cares about our team and how our team does and bringing all of us up together, the Golden Skier goes to the person who really just loves the sport, who is excited to be out there skiing, whether it's getting out and training extra by themselves or skiing with their friends or teaching new people. They're really just passionate about skiing and about getting their best and the team's best out of the sport. So for girls, that's Claire Bussman. Congratulations, Claire. You had quite a few years in the sport. You've continuously improved. You were a great captain this year, really supportive of the team, and really worked hard and set aggressive goals for yourself as well. So you're very deserving of this. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And for the boys, it's Martin Bryce. Pam already said, you have a long history with Northfield Nordic skiing, and we're all going to have to try and figure out what to do when you leave us next year. But one thing that's for sure is that you've shown everyone on the team how to just love the sport and work hard at it without letting it become a grind, just enjoying every day you can get out skiing, and even trying to enjoy the time spent waxing and everything in between that just makes the sport go. So congratulations and thank you.
Oh boy.
This one is a very singular award. It's the only award that can go to any skier, boy or girl, and there's only one of them, and that is the coveted Best Fall Award. So this year, the best fall, as voted by her teammates, goes to Lucy Graham. And it was not just one fall. She got voted for it the most times, and it was a different description of a different fall. So, way to go, learn, Lucy. That's the way that you learn the sport, is by falling. Luckily, snow is mostly pretty soft, so I think if you stick with it, you'll fall less and less, and you probably won't get to win that award anymore. Maybe one of these other awards will be yours in the future.
Oh,
Our final word of the evening. I don't know if we had a traveling trophy for this award before, so I decided we probably needed one. And this is what I had. So these skiing dogs are the traveling trophy awards for our most valuable skier. This is the skier who really put in the effort to get the best out of themselves, who trained hard all summer, all fall, who raced as much as they could and as hard as they could all winter. In some cases, even going to extra races outside of the high school season to just really challenge themselves for everything that they could get out of the sport. So our girls MVP goes to Claire Busman. For some really amazing results, a very close miss on a state meet, and just some awesome PRs this year as far as placing, some really good results against our conference and our sectional. So congratulations, Claire. And our boys MVP goes to Sam Follin. Whose training season started probably a week after Nordic ended last spring. He put in huge hours all through the summer, every Saturday and a couple of weekdays, even with cross-country season all fall, to get out on his roller skis, to lift weights, to do everything he could do to make himself faster in the last 12 months. And it's really showed. He went from someone who was a narrow miss at sectionals last year to solidly in third place in our sectional, won his first conference race, and was, I think, no lower than third in almost every race that he did in our conference this year against a couple of very good brothers from Prior Lakes. And earned himself a spot at state, finished in the top 50 in his first time there, which is better than Patrick did until he was a senior, and better than ever made it, and closing in on where Will Olstead was. So you're in very rare company already, and you have years yet ahead of you to smash those records. So congratulations, Sam. All right, then I would like to, I'm going to wait to hand out our letter awards until this is kind of wrapped up, but I would like to recognize our two state qualifiers, Sam Follin and Martin Bryce, who earned their state letters. Congratulations again to you two guys. And then I think we're going to have our next two captain speeches.
Okay. All right.
I feel like a lot of people, the year I joined Nordic was the first time I had ever skied. I remember when I decided to join. I was in 9th grade at lunch table with Claire and Elsa Nystrom. Claire said that it was a goal for herself to try something new in high school, and Nordic was that something new. So I said, if Claire is joining, so should I. That first year, Elsa told me there was an 8th grade girl she was friends with from cross country that was joining the team too. You'll never guess who that was. Clara Lippert. That's right. Clara Lippert and I met in Nordic. Crazy to think about. The first year of Nordic is so memorable. You guys are introduced to an entire new team of skiers, and there isn't as much pressure on you to have perfect technique. You decided to learn as much as you can while having fun. Personally, I learned to ski on the snow behind the old rock house and in the ditch beside Division Street because that was the only place with enough snow at that time. That year, we played probably a few 20 games of soccer for being Nordic, but it was all in the name of team bonding. I'll never forget Coach Jonah's ingenious idea of ski soccer or his extra special cookies he brought for the last day of practice. My role models early in my Nordic career were the captains Caroline, Katie, Jess, and Josh. They're extremely dedicated and knowledgeable about the sport. I love the small moments that I shared with each of them. Josh taught me how to put my ski boots into my bindings. Caroline would laugh and look the other way when Clara Lee and I were goofing off instead of skiing. Jess led our ski squad while blasting the song Dance Monkey in the lower Arb. And it seemed like Katie and I were always the last two waxing in the rock house. Going into my next years, I felt really confident about my place on the team. I had a better understanding of Nordic and some really solid friendships. In my second year, I met Lee Fossum. What a gal. I remember trying to teach her how to skate ski during a Saturday practice at Highland, and she was a speed demon from the beginning. With little surprise, my favorite parts of Nordic these years were the bus rides, section meets, and team bondings. Everything from singing Christmas songs on the back of the bus from the way back from the Arb, Celine's amazing onesies she would wear to the meets and somehow lose her voice from cheering every single time, making sections posters with always amazing sayings on them, and a mild teen obsession with George Grunkley, so much so that Luke started DMing him at a team bonding with some horrible punny jokes, not limited to, what do you call George Grunkley who is in a submarine? George Sunkley. After all of this finished off with a staggering number of timer picks taken these seasons. I don't want to say I was nervous coming into the season of Nordic, but I absolutely was. For the past 3 years of my Nordic career, the skiers in the grade above me felt like the heart of the Nordic team, and I was really afraid of them not being here this year. The only captains I knew were Caroline, Jess, and Katie, Josh for 2 years. I felt pressure being a senior and a captain for the team, that I should be more of a role model like the seniors were before me. For me personally, this wasn't super realistic, but thankfully I had 3 other captains alongside me. Before this year, I had not been super close with them, although we've been teammates and classmates for years. I'm really proud of how well we worked together and complemented each other's styles. Claire is an amazing role model for the girls team. She has unmatched dedication, putting in the extra time during the off season, grinding on some roller skiing, and consistently asking questions for coaches about advice on skiing and waxing technique. She really pushes herself during practice workouts. I remember her last year training with Caroline, Katie, and Jess, because they may have been a little bit faster during races, but Claire trained with them to make herself that much better. Moving on to Jacob, he is so solid and willing to go the extra mile in his training. Here he is on weekends talking about the crazy tens of kilometers of skiing he did. I remember one day at captain's practice this year, the rest of the team ran maybe 5 miles, Jacob ran 10. My favorite Jacob memory is from one of my junior races at Theodore Worth. I was coming around a hairpin turn at the bottom of a hill near the parking lot, about to ski up the hill that seems to never end. I see Jacob standing alone on the side of the course cheering me on. I definitely looked defeated going up the hill, but his cheering was so genuine, it gave me motivation to go a little bit faster. And for Martin, he's the big brains out of our captain group. Whenever the captains couldn't decide on something in the chat, he'd be the decisive one and say, okay, this is what we're doing. And we'd be like, okay. I won't forget soon, one strength day at practice, we were leading a small group together, but in actuality, he was leading the group. I just came up with the team name of Gryffindor, so naturally we had to award group points called house points. Martin has a lot of talents outside of skiing. My favorite is his killer Gollum from the Hobbit impersonation, really useful for heads up, along with his Irish and Scottish accents. His artistic skills have come in handy too. I hope Claire still has her poster from sections freshman year with an amazing bear drawing on it, drawn by Martin. We can't forget about his memorable quotes and pieces of advice Sam Folin had coined, Martinisms. All this to say is thank you to my fellow captains. We have varied strengths, but that is very beneficial for forming a cohesive team. Next, I want to give a huge thank you to all the coaches. This year especially helped me to realize the time and effort you all put into the team. Craig, I feel like it's fair to say you are the most reliable and organized coach I've ever had. In the best way possible, you have made our jobs as captains super easy. It is apparent that you want everyone on the team in Nordic to have a positive experience out of it and give enough flexibility to let the skiers decide what that means for them. You are super understanding for new skiers if they aren't comfortable racing yet. You understand if some days during practice we're not feeling our best. On a personal note, you helped me find my ski boots. I thought I'd last forever. I mentioned to you one day I'd lost my boots and asked if you've seen them anywhere. A week later, you emailed me saying that you had contacted the bus garages and they're in the Egan bus garage. I was already looking at eBay for a replacement. Coach David, thank you. You are a resident ski waxer ski tech, and you give me lots of advice when I didn't even know that I needed it. And you point out my technique when it's failing, and it actually makes me ski faster. Thank you to Coach Ava, Nate, and Pam for help on strength days and throughout all my 4 years. I just want to give a thank you to the entire team. I didn't realize it coming into the season, but this was my favorite year of Nordic. And with all the adversity we faced, I loved the practices before the season. That's where I got my fix of soccer for the year. And even roller skiing was fun then. I loved the game nights. Even when I couldn't get onto the Minecraft server, I was just on the Zoom call for hours. And my favorite part of Nordic, forever and always, is the bus rides to and from the meets. We always play games, talk about absolutely random things. This year we diagnosed Claire Lippert because her fingers and toes turn purple after every time she races. We couldn't come to a consensus though. And lastly, I just want to leave you all with 2 pieces of advice. They might feel cliche, but I really think they're true. The first is Nordic is what you make of it. I definitely to be beneficial, I think I'd like to compare myself to Claire. We joined Nordic the first year together in 9th grade. And that first year we were pretty similar skiers, like racing wise and our results wise. But through the years, Claire put in so much effort and dedication, and she rose a ton through the rankings. I didn't. But there's different people in Nordic, and you can choose what you want to be. I love being enthusiastic and having team spirit, and maybe Nordic isn't my main sport. And that's what I decided it to be. So you can kind of choose what you want to be in the sport. And lastly, I'd recommend getting involved. This year, as a captain, it really pushed me to be involved, going in the practices before the season and the game nights and staying after practices and stuff. And I got to meet so many people that I wouldn't talk to otherwise. So those are my 2 pieces of advice, and that's all I have. Thank you.
For those of you who have been in Nordic before, you know there's always a certain level of uncertainty about the season. This is because we rely on snow, which unfortunately is not always the most reliable. This season was no exception in terms of uncertainty. However, the snow was the least of our concerns. Coming into the season, I wasn't sure of what Nordic would look like in the context of a pandemic. I was worried that things would be different this year. And of course things were different, but they were always different in a way that stayed true to the things that I love about this team. The season was delayed, but we used that extra time to play soccer and get new skiers on roller skis. We couldn't have team bondings in person, but playing Minecraft with you guys was more fun than I even imagined. Our racing schedule was very different this year, but it meant that we got to ski at new locations like Winona and Murphy. With all these differences, one thing remained the same: our team spirit. The same spirit that warrants remarks from other coaches about our outstanding cheering section is what I believe made an uncertain season into a remarkable one. Thank you all for your focus this season. Thank you returning skiers for your dedication, and thank you new skiers for your impressive enthusiasm for a sport that is very difficult to pick up. While all of these differences were good, they were also challenging. There's a lot of work that goes into making a Nordic season happen, and the uncertainty surrounding this year only added to that. Luckily, this team has no shortage of motivated people who work to make everything run smoothly. First, I'd like to thank my co-captains Wendy, Jacob, and Claire for being such amazing collaborators, teammates, and friends. Second, I'd like to thank Coach Afa, Coach Pam, and Coach Nate for their coaching help. Finally, I'd like to thank Coach Craig and Coach David for all their hard work and expertise. Coach David was an indispensable help at every practice and waxing session. Coach Craig not only kept things organized at practices, but also expertly handled all of the planning and communication that is required to run a team. On a more personal note, thank you both for your support of me as an athlete and for helping me have the best senior season I could have asked for. One last time, thank you, captains and coaches. Last year, I said that Nordic gets more and more fun every year, and it's clear that this pattern will continue. I'm happy to say that I was absolutely right. I feel very fortunate to end 6 years of Nordic with such an exceptional season and with such an amazing team. Thank you.
next up, our captains are going to set up and show the slideshow. I'm not sure how well those of you who are tuning in on Zoom will be able to see this since it is a little bright in here. I will turn down the lights to give us the best chance. But we will be posting it up to YouTube, and I'll send out that link afterwards for those of you who can only hear and not see and want to find out what you're missing. So Jacob's getting that set up, and I will get the lights.
Yeah, I got it.
Oh, wait.
Congratulations. That goes you a star.
Oh, I got a thank.
Is a thing to say on a bright and white Christmas day. That's the island greeting we send you from the land where palm trees sway.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Thank you, captains, for your great work putting that together. Thank you all again for contributing all your hard work and all your memories into making this season what it was. It was fun to look back and see how much has happened in the few short weeks that we've had. So our last item of business for the night is announcing our captains for next year. So next year's boys captains will be David Rhodes and so David and Will be our guys captains. For the girls, it shouldn't be a surprise since there were only 2 girls running, but congratulations to Lee Fossum and Clara Lippert. girls captains, you have this very important trophy going all the way back to 1996 of our girls captains. So bring it with you and take good care of it. Take good care of our team. I'm really excited to be working with you for next year to keep building on the awesome momentum that this year's captains and those who have gone before have set up. So thank you all for coming tonight. Please sign the senior posters if you haven't already done so. If you have a participation award or a letter to pick up, please see one of the coaches. And that's all we have. Thank you for an amazing season. Good luck, seniors, and hopefully I'll see the rest of you out next year.
Oh, that's a lot of damage.
Yeah,